Uh, Virgo, stop. Stop adjusting your collar. Stop smoothing your hair. Stop checking your reflection to see if everything is in place, as if the conversation I am about to hand you concerns something as trivial as fabric, bone structure, or the angle of your jawline. Because what is being said about your appearance right now, what is being dissected, analyzed, replayed, and whispered about with a feverish intensity that would make your skin crawl if you could hear the actual words, has absolutely nothing to do with beauty, nothing to do with fashion, nothing to do with the superficial metrics the world uses to measure aesthetic worth. Someone is talking about your appearance. In fact, multiple people are. But the reason behind their obsession, the engine driving every comment, every stare, every hushed exchange happening in rooms you are not in, is going to rattle you so deeply that you will never look at your own reflection the same way again. Before we pull back the curtain on what is really unfolding, if your stomach just dropped, if your breath caught in that specific way it does when truth is approaching in disguise, if you felt that cold, electric recognition that this message is carrying your exact frequency, then claim it. Anchor yourself here. Support this channel by liking this transmission, subscribing, and leaving your energy in the comments below. These messages are soul specific. They hunt down the exact Virgo who is meant to intercept them at the precise moment of readiness, and your engagement keeps this portal of revelation burning. There is so much more to uncover, and we are only beginning to scratch the surface now. Listen to me with a focus that borders on ferocity. I am not here to tell you that you look good. I am not here to validate your recent haircut, your weight loss, your new wardrobe, or the subtle changes in your skincare routine. Those are surface ripples. Those are the distractions your logical mind will reach for to explain what I am about to reveal. But the truth operates in the depths, Virgo. And the truth is this: your appearance has become evidence. It has become a crime scene and a verdict all at once. It has become the physical, undeniable proof of an inner alchemy so radical that the people who once thought they knew you are now staring at you like you are a completely different species. And one person in particular, yes, you know exactly who I am, talking about the name that just materialized in your mind like smoke taking shape, is absolutely losing their grip on reality because of what your body is now broadcasting. They are talking about you constantly, obsessively, relentlessly, not in the way people discuss a celebrity's red carpet look, not in the way friends comment on a mutual acquaintance's glow up. This is different. This is surgical. This is pathological. This person is describing you to anyone who will listen with a level of detail that borders on the forensic. They are noting the way your shoulders sit now, squared and settled, no longer hunched in the protective curl they remember. They are obsessing over your eyes, how they have changed from searching to seeing, from asking to knowing. They are studying photographs of you, old ones, recent ones, ones they have to dig for, ones they find accidentally, and they are comparing them like an archaeologist comparing two civilizations. Where did this come from? When did this happen? How is it possible that the same face, the same bone structure, the same physical container now houses an entirely different frequency? And Virgo, the question that is torturing them, the one that keeps them awake until the edges of the night turn gray, is not whether you are attractive. They have already conceded that. The question that is breaking them is whether you were always this powerful, and they simply failed to see it. That is the shock. That is the revelation that is rippling through every conversation about your appearance. You see, when people talk about how you look right now, they are not actually talking about your appearance. They are talking about your escape. They are talking about the fact that you have broken out of a prison they did not even know was made of glass, and your body is now walking around as living proof that captivity was never your destiny. Your skin, your posture, the way light hits your cheekbones, the way you hold your head when you walk into a room, all of it has become a language that reads quite clearly to anyone who has eyes to see. I am no longer available for your projections. I am no longer a canvas for your insecurities. I am no longer a mirror that reflects back your own self-hatred. I have become my own source. And that message, written in the cellular text of your physical form, is the most shocking thing they have ever witnessed. Let me tell you what I see in the energetic field around this person right now, because it is intense. I see them sitting in a car, or on the edge of a bed, or at a table with friends who are growing increasingly uncomfortable, holding their phone like it is a grenade. They are zooming into a photograph of you, not a glamorous photograph, not a staged shot, just you. Maybe you at a gathering, maybe you in natural light, maybe you simply existing in a way that seems to ignore the camera entirely. And as they zoom, their breath changes, their pupils dilate, their jaw tightens. They are looking for a flaw. They are searching for the crack in the facade. They need to find something, anything that proves this transformation is artificial. A filter, an angle, a good day, a new product, a temporary high that will eventually crash and return you to the version of yourself they knew how to handle. But they cannot find it. They cannot locate the seam. They cannot identify the trick. Because there is no trick, Virgo. There is no filter. There is no product. There is no angle. What they are looking at is the physical manifestation of a soul that has finally decided to occupy its own body completely. And that occupation changes everything. Your appearance has become a haunting for them. It follows them through their day. They see someone on the street wearing a color you recently wore, and they flinch. They hear a voice that carries a similar cadence to yours, and they turn, heart hammering, expecting to see you standing there with that new look in your eye, the one that does not need them, the one that does not ask for permission, the one that simply is. They are describing you to their friends with a desperation that their friends do not know how to interpret. They say things like, "You should see her now," or "He looks like a completely different person." But the subtext is always the same. I made a mistake. I underestimated what I had. I thought I was leaving behind someone ordinary, and it turns out I was walking away from someone who was only beginning to emerge, and that realization is not a gentle whisper. It is a sledgehammer to the foundation of their self-concept. Because here is what is truly shocking, Virgo. This person believed on some level that their absence would mark you, that their rejection would etch itself into your face, that their withdrawal would drain the color from your world and leave you faded, diminished, easier to forget. They expected to hear through the grapevine that you were struggling, that you looked tired, that the break the distance, the silence had taken its toll on your physical form. They prepared themselves for the satisfaction of knowing that you were still carrying the bruise of their departure. But what they encountered instead was a body that has become a temple, a presence that has become a fortress, a face that looks like it has been touched by something holy. And the dissonance between what they expected and what they are seeing is creating a psychological earthquake inside them. They are fighting with themselves, Virgo. Fighting with the part of them that wants to believe you have simply found someone else, that your glow is the reflection of another person's attention, that your transformation is borrowed rather than earned. They are clinging to that explanation because it is the only one that does not completely destroy their ego. If someone else is making you look this way, then at least they are not witnessing the birth of a power that was always inside you, independent of any external validation. But their gut knows better. Their gut knows that no lover, no friend, no guru can manufacture what is emanating from you. This is not the glow of new romance. This is the glow of self-rescue. This is the incandescence of a being who has pulled itself out of the wreckage and discovered that the fire did not consume them, it refined them. And that refinement is visible. It is molecular. It is written in the way your cells now organize themselves around a new command: sovereignty. I want you to understand the mechanics of what is happening to your physical form, because your Virgo mind will want an explanation. You have been through an initiation, not a gentle one, an initiation by fire, by silence, by abandonment, by the exact kind of pressure that forces a soul to either crumble or crystallize. You crystallized, Virgo. And crystallization changes the way light moves through a structure. Your body is now refracting a different spectrum. Where there used to be opacity defenses, tension, the muscular armor of hypervigilance, there is now transparency. Not vulnerability, but clarity. Your features have not changed, but the energy behind them has. Your cheekbones were always there, but now they are supported by the alignment of someone who no longer apologizes for taking up space. Your eyes were always beautiful, but now they are backed by a gaze that has seen through illusion and come out the other side. Your mouth, which used to hold back so many words, now rests in a line that suggests you have finally spoken your truth to yourself, if not to the world. Every inch of you has become a paragraph, and the people reading you are stunned by the content. The person who is most obsessed with your appearance is experiencing something that borders on religious terror. They are realizing that they are looking at a miracle they did not believe in. They are realizing that the body they once touched, the skin they once took for granted, the presence they once assumed would always be available to them, has been reclaimed by a force greater than their desire. You have been repossessed by your own soul, Virgo. And the new tenant has renovated the entire building. The walls are different, the light fixtures are different, the windows are clean. And from the outside, the structure now looks like a cathedral where there used to be a modest house. They drive past it in their memory, and they cannot believe they ever had the keys. They cannot believe they ever treated this place casually. They cannot believe they did not recognize the architectural potential of what they were standing inside. And now, looking at you from the outside, they are overwhelmed by the grandeur of what they lost access to. Your appearance is making them question their own perception of reality. They are asking their friends, was she always this? And trailing off because they do not have the vocabulary. Did he always carry himself like that? And hearing the silence that confirms their own blindness. They are wondering if they were delusional when they knew you before. if they miss something obvious. If the power was always there, dormant, waiting for the right conditions to bloom, and they were simply too self-absorbed to notice the garden growing beneath their feet, this doubt is corrosive. It is eating away at their confidence in their own judgment. If they could be this wrong about you, what else are they wrong about? If they could overlook this magnitude of transformation, how many other miracles have they dismissed in their life? Your face has become their existential crisis. Your posture has become their meditation. Your glow has become their sleepless night. And Virgo, it is not just them. Others are seeing it too. Strangers are stopping you or stopping in their tracks when you pass, not because you fit some magazine ideal, but because you carry a frequency that interrupts the mundane. You are walking through grocery stores and coffee shops and office hallways like a walking interruption to the collective trance. People feel you before they see you. They sense the shift in the atmosphere. They turn, expecting nothing, and find themselves face to face with a presence that reminds them of something they have forgotten about themselves. That is why they stare. That is why they comment. That is why they feel compelled to tell you that something is different, even when they cannot name what it is. They are not complimenting your appearance. They are responding to your alchemy. They are witnessing with their physical eyes the evidence that transformation is real. That a person can be burned down to nothing and regrow not just as a tree, but as a forest. Your body is now a walking testament to resurrection, and that testimony is more powerful than any sermon, any book, any philosophy. It is flesh and blood proof that the soul, when it decides to rise, rewrites the body in its own image. This is why the reason will shock you, Virgo, because you think they are talking about your looks. You think the comments, the stares, the obsession is about vanity, about aesthetics, about the surface level improvements you may or may not have consciously made. But it is not. It is about the fact that your appearance has become a verdict on every lie they told themselves about your dependency, a verdict on every assumption they made about your fragility, a verdict on the story they constructed where they were the prize and you were the one left wanting. Your body, in its current state, has delivered a guilty verdict against their entire narrative. It has declared, without speaking a single word, that you were never the one who needed saving. You were never the one who was incomplete. You were never the one who would wither in the absence of their attention. You were, in fact, the source, the well, the origin point of a light so potent that its absence from their life is now creating a darkness they do not know how to navigate. They are trying to mimic you, Virgo. I see it in the field. This person is trying to replicate whatever they think you have done. They are buying new clothes. They are changing their hair. They are attempting to adopt a posture of confidence that looks like a cheap costume on their frame because it is not backed by the internal work you have done. They are trying to glow, but they are using bulbs while you have become the sun, and the contrast is making them more desperate. They are looking at their own reflection and seeing the hollowness of their imitation. They are looking at your photographs and seeing the authenticity of your emanation, and the gap between the two is a chasm they are terrified they will never be able to cross, because what you have cannot be bought. It cannot be faked. It cannot be applied like makeup or injected like filler. What you have is the residue of a soul that has metabolized its own pain and turned it into radiance. And that process leaves marks, not scars, but stars. constellations of wisdom mapped across your skin, galaxies of resilience visible in the set of your jaw. And they can see the map, but they do not have the key to read it. They know it says something magnificent, but they are illiterate in the language of your transformation. Your appearance has become dangerous to them, Virgo, not because you are threatening, but because you are evidence that they chose poorly, evidence that they underestimated the divine, evidence that the person they discarded was actually a phoenix sleeping in the ash, and that their departure was the very heat required to trigger the ignition. Your skin is now too bright for their shadows. Your posture is too straight for their manipulations. Your eyes are too clear for their fog. And they know, with a dread that sits heavy in their stomach like a stone, that they no longer have access to you. Not because you have built a wall, but because you have become a mountain. And mountains do not negotiate with those who are afraid to climb. They talk about your appearance because it is the only thing they can still observe from a distance. They have lost access to your thoughts. They have lost access to your emotions. They have lost access to your time, your energy, your presence. But they can still see you, or at least they can still see the shell that now houses a power they do not recognize. And so they have made your appearance their religion. They study it, they worship it, they resent it, they crave it. They describe it to others with a mix of awe and agony that leaves their listeners confused. Why does this person care so much about how Virgo looks? Their friends wonder. Why are they so fixated? Why can they not stop talking about it? And the answer is because your appearance is the only remaining bridge between them and the truth they are too afraid to face. Every comment they make about your face is a confession of their own failure. Every observation about your body is an admission of their regret. Every detailed description of your new presence is a love letter they are too proud to write directly to you. You have become a living myth, Virgo, a legend that walks in daylight. And myths are always discussed in hushed tones, analyzed for meaning, debated for origin. They are trying to figure out your origin story. When did the transformation begin? What was the catalyst? Was it a person, a practice, a place, a prayer? They are collecting theories like trophies, none of which satisfy them, because the real answer is too simple and too devastating. You decided. You decided that you were done being diminished. You decided that your body would no longer be a storage unit for other people's shame. You decided that your face would no longer wear the expression of someone waiting to be chosen. You decided to occupy yourself fully, and that decision, invisible to the eye, rearranged every cell in your being until the evidence was undeniable. That is the secret they cannot crack. That is the code they cannot break. That is the reason your appearance is all they talk about, and the reason it shocks them every single time. Because it proves that the most powerful changes are invisible until they are not. It proves that the soul, when it heals, rewrites the flesh. It proves that you were never dependent on their gaze for your glory. And it proves, beyond any shadow of any doubt, that the person they thought they were leaving behind was actually a chrysalis. And the being that has emerged bears so little resemblance to what they knew that they are now questioning whether they ever knew you at all. The answer, of course, is that they did not. They knew a version of you that you created to survive them, a smaller version, a quieter version, a version that held its breath and made itself convenient. That version served its purpose. It kept you safe until you were strong enough to outgrow it. And now that you have, The contrast is so extreme that they feel like they are looking at a stranger who happens to wear the face of someone they once loved. Virgo, I need you to hear this with every cell of your being. Your appearance is not superficial, not anymore. It has become your ministry, your testimony, your broadcast tower. Every time someone looks at you and feels something shift inside them, you are doing spiritual work. Every time this person stares at your photograph and feels their chest tighten with a mix of desire and despair, you are teaching them a lesson they could not learn any other way. You are teaching them that the divine cannot be discarded. You are teaching them that underestimating a Virgo is the most expensive mistake a person can make. You are teaching them that the body, when it is reclaimed by its rightful owner, becomes a weapon of mass illumination. And the shock waves of that illumination are reaching further than, they are talking about you in places you have never been. They are showing your picture to people who do not know your name. They are trying to explain the inexplicable, trying to put into words a transformation that defies language. And in their fumbling attempts, they are accidentally evangelizing your power. They are making other people curious about you. They are making other people want to know what happened, what you did, who you are now. Your appearance has become a rumor of glory, a whispered legend, a visual parable that travels from mouth to mouth, from screen to screen, from heart to heart, leaving a trail of awe and envy and ultimately inspiration. You are not just changing how one person sees you. You are changing how the world understands what is possible when a soul decides to stop shrinking. And Virgo, the most shocking part of all, you are not finished. This is not the final form. What they are seeing right now, what is making them lose their minds with obsession and regret, is only the beginning. You are still transforming. You are still alchemizing. You are still becoming. Every day that you choose yourself, every day that you honor your boundaries, every day that you refuse to let the old narrative stick to your skin, you level up. You become brighter. You become more solid. You become more undeniable. And the person who is currently stuck on this version of you is going to be even more devastated by the next one, because they are standing still, analyzing a past frame, while you are already evolving into a future they cannot even imagine. Your appearance is a mirror now, Virgo, but not the kind of mirror that reflects back what people want to see. It is the kind of mirror that shows them exactly who they are. When they look at you, they see their own cowardice reflected in the clarity of your gaze. They see their own stagnation reflected in the forward motion of your posture. They see their own emptiness reflected in the fullness of your presence. And that is why they cannot stop talking about it, because looking at you forces a confrontation they have been avoiding their entire life. You have become the mirror they cannot lie to, the mirror that does not flatter, the mirror that reflects only truth. And the truth is that they had something sacred in their hands and they treated it like it was ordinary. And now that sacred thing has become a cathedral, and they are standing outside in the cold, peering through stained glass windows at a light they will never again be close enough to warm themselves by. So let them talk, Virgo. Let them analyze. Let them obsess. Let them zoom into every pixel of every photograph, searching for the secret, searching for the flaw, searching for the explanation that will let them off the hook. Let them fight with their friends about whether someone told you something, whether you found a new lover, whether you discovered some external source of power. Let them theorize and speculate and drive themselves into circles of confusion, because the real answer is not out there. It is in here. It is in the decision you made to stop being available for diminishment. It is in the work you did in the dark, in the silence, in the hours where no one was watching and no one was cheering. It is in the tears that watered the soil of your new self. It is in the rage you transmuted into boundaries. It is in the grief you metabolized into grace. Your appearance is simply the receipt, the proof of purchase, the evidence that you paid the price for your own freedom and that the transaction was successful beyond anyone's wildest imagination. You are not beautiful, Virgo, not in the way the world cheaply defines it. You are formidable. You are luminous. You are a walking, breathing, undeniable demonstration that the soul, when it decides to reclaim its vessel, turns that vessel into a masterpiece. And the masterpiece does not ask for validation. It simply hangs in the gallery of the world, commanding attention, demanding reverence, and reminding everyone who passes by that they too could be this powerful if they only had the courage to do the work. So the next time you catch your reflection, do not look for flaws. Do not search for the things the old you would have criticized. Look for the light. Look for the evidence. Look for the proof that you have become exactly what they were, too blind to see. And know that every word they speak about your appearance is really a prayer for forgiveness, a prayer for understanding, a prayer for one more chance to stand in the presence of what they did not recognize until it was too late. And whether or not you ever grant them that chance, Virgo, the power is yours, the appearance is yours, the truth is yours, and the shock is theirs to carry. If this reading split you open and poured light into places that had grown dark, if you felt the truth of your own transformation vibrating through every word, then anchor it right now, like this video. Subscribe to this channel. Leave a comment below declaring that your appearance is the evidence of your sovereignty. Speak it, claim it, make it real in the physical realm by putting your energy behind it. These messages are living things, Virgo, and your engagement keeps them breathing. There is more revelation coming, more truth, more layers to peel back. Stay luminous, stay undeniable. And never forget that the reason they cannot stop talking about how you look is because your soul has finally become too loud to ignore.